The truth is, not all debt is created equal. Some debt quietly drains your future every single month. Other debt, when used properly, can actually help you build wealth faster. And the biggest mistake I see people make is aggressively paying down the wrong debts while completely ignoring opportunity cost. That one mistake alone can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. I want to walk you through this the way I'd explain it to a friend sitting across the table from me. No fluff, no gimmicks, just logic, math, and real-world strategy. And yes, some of this may go against what you've been told your entire life. That's kind of the point. Let's start with the one that makes people the most uncomfortable: low-interest mortgages. If you locked in a mortgage rate somewhere in the 2.5% to 4% range over the past decade, that is some of the cheapest money you will ever touch. Ever. And yet, people are obsessed with paying it off early. Every extra dollar goes straight to principal because it feels good emotionally to say, I own my house. But here's the reality. When you make extra payments on a 3 or 4% mortgage, the return you're getting on that money is 3 or 4%. That's it. Meanwhile, long-term market returns have historically averaged around 10%. That gap matters a lot. And here's the part people don't talk about enough: liquidity. When you dump extra cash into your house, that money is trapped. If something goes wrong, job loss, medical issue, market downturn, you can't easily access that equity without selling or borrowing again. But if that money is invested, you still control it. You have options. Liquidity is oxygen in your financial life. Now, I'm not saying be reckless. I'm not saying take on more debt. I'm saying if you already have a low-interest mortgage, stop making extra payments. Redirect that money into investments that historically generate higher returns. That's how leverage works. That's how wealthy people think about money. The same logic applies to federal student loans, and this is where a lot of people really hurt themselves without realizing it. I see young professionals absolutely obsessed with paying off student loans as fast as possible, even if the interest rate is moderate. They're throwing every spare dollar at it while completely ignoring retirement investing. No employer match, no Roth IRA, no compounding working in their favor. And that's a tragedy, because the most powerful factor in wealth building isn't how much you invest, it's how early you start. Money invested in your 20s and early 30s has decades to compound. That same money invested later in life simply can't catch up. Most federal student loans sit in the 4 to 7% range. That's not ideal, but it's also not an emergency, especially when you consider that many employers offer a 401k match. That match is free money. Instant returns that crush the interest rate on student loans. Ignoring that to overpay a loan is one of the most expensive mistakes you can make. The smart move is boring, but effective. Make your minimum student loan payments on time. Protect your credit. Then prioritize the employer match, build an emergency fund, fund tax-advantaged accounts, and invest. Federal student loans also come with protections: income-driven repayment, deferment options, potential forgiveness programs. When you aggressively pay them down early, you're often giving up flexibility for very little gain. I've seen people delay investing for 10 or 15 years because they wanted to be debt-free. By the time they finally started investing, the compounding window was gone. That's not discipline. That feeling is emotional, not financial. Math doesn't care about feelings. If you're financing a car at 3% and the market can reasonably outperform that over time, paying extra on the loan is a suboptimal use of capital. Imagine putting extra money toward a depreciating asset versus investing that same money into assets that grow. After the loan is gone, the car continues to lose value. The investment, on the other hand, keeps compounding. Over time, the difference becomes very real. Now, let me be clear. This only applies to low-interest auto loans. If you're paying 8, 10, or 15% because of bad credit, that's expensive debt, and that needs attention. And none of this means you should buy a car you can't afford. It means that once you have cheap financing, minimum payments plus investing often wins the math battle. So if you're wondering what to actually do with the money you're no longer throwing at cheap debt, this is where everything comes together. This is where wealth is built. First priority, always, is capturing your full employer 401k match. That's non-negotiable. It's free money. It's an instant return that you cannot replicate anywhere else. Second, build an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses in a high-yield savings account. This isn't about growth. It's about protection. It's what keeps you from going into high-interest debt when life inevitably throws you a curveball. Third, fund a Roth IRA if you're eligible. Tax-free growth, tax-free withdrawals in retirement. Over decades, that tax advantage alone can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Fourth, continue funding your retirement accounts and then start focusing on investments that generate cash flow. Dividend-paying stocks and ETFs are powerful because they create income. Income you can reinvest, compound, and eventually live off of. That's how passive income starts to take shape. This shift from obsessing over debt elimination to focusing on asset accumulation is where people finally break out of the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. Every dollar should have a job, and that job should be making you more money. Now, all of that comes with one massive exception, and this part is critical. High-interest consumer debt is financial poison. Credit cards, personal loans, buy now, pay later schemes, payday loans. This is the debt that deserves your full, aggressive attention. When you're paying 20% or more in interest, no investment strategy can reliably beat that. Paying off a 25% credit card balance is a guaranteed, risk-free return. That's why this type of debt must be eliminated as fast as possible. The strategy here is simple and ruthless. List every high-interest balance. Attack the highest interest rate first. Throw every extra dollar at it while making minimums elsewhere. Cut expenses, increase income. Do whatever it takes. Once one balance is gone, roll that payment into the next one. This is math, not motivation. And once it's gone, keep it gone. High-interest debt undoes everything else you're trying to build. Here's the big takeaway I want you to remember. Being debt-free is not the goal. Being wealthy is the goal. Plenty of people have zero debt and zero assets. Meanwhile, many wealthy individuals use debt strategically because it works in their favor. The difference isn't discipline, it's understanding. It's knowing when debt is cheap, when it's dangerous, and where your money actually produces the highest return. If you start asking better questions, what's the interest rate? What's the opportunity cost? Where can this dollar work hardest? Your entire financial life changes. This one shift in thinking can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars over time. Now you have the framework. What you do with it is up to you. If you enjoyed the video, like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss out on the next important analysis update. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.